Chicago, winter of 1929. The city was a war zone. Prohibition had turned liquor into gold, and the streets into battlefields. At the center of it all stood Alphonse Al Capone, a man who controlled Chicago's South Side with charm, fear, and firepower. And standing against him was George "Bugs" Moran, the last survivor of the old North Side gang that had been trying to dethrone Capone for years. The two men had traded bullets, bombs, and bodies for months. Every truckload of bootleg whiskey was a declaration of war. By February, Capone wanted it over, once and for all. On the morning of February 14th, 7 men loyal to Moran gathered in a garage at 2122 North Clark Street. Among them were Moran's trusted lieutenants, Adam Heyer, Albert Kachelek, Reinhard Schwimmer, and the Gusenberg brothers. They waited for a liquor shipment that was supposed to cripple Capone's operation. But what arrived instead was death. A black Cadillac pulled up, looking like an unmarked police car. 4 men stepped out. 2 wore Chicago police uniforms. The other 2 wore suits and overcoats, hiding Tommy guns beneath them. They stormed into the garage yelling, "Police raid!" The men inside obeyed immediately, thinking it was just another bribe situation. They were ordered to line up against the wall. What happened next would become one of the most infamous acts of violence in American history. The 2 men in plain clothes opened fire. Bullets ripped through the air, cutting through flesh, bone, and brick. In seconds, the garage was filled with smoke, echoes, and silence. When real police arrived, they found 7 bodies. The wall behind them looked like it had been chewed apart by demons. Only Frank Gusenberg was barely alive, bleeding out on the floor. When asked who shot him, he whispered his last word, "Cops." But the police uniforms were only costumes. And the killers? Believed to be members of Capone's gang, led by his hitman, Machine Gun, Jack McGurn. Capone, of course, had a perfect alibi. He was in sunny Florida, talking business at his mansion by the sea. Bugs Moran arrived minutes after the massacre. He saw the bodies being carried out and muttered, "Only Capone kills like that." He was right, and that single morning marked the end of Moran's power in Chicago. If you're deep into this story and your heart's pounding like a Tommy gun, take a second to hit like, share the madness, and subscribe to Time Story, because the next shot in history might already be loading. After the massacre, the press erupted. Headlines screamed of Valentine's Day bloodbath, and the public finally saw Capone not as a glamorous outlaw, but as a monster. The photo of those 7 lifeless men shocked America, even in a decade used to violence. Capone's empire didn't fall overnight, but the massacre marked the beginning of his end. Federal agents, politicians, and the IRS started closing in. Within 2 years, the man who ruled Chicago with blood and whiskey was brought down by taxes. The garage was eventually torn down, but the bricks from the bullet-riddled wall were preserved by collectors. To this day, those bricks are said to be cursed, bringing bad luck or even death to those who own them. It's been nearly a century, but every February 14th, the ghost of the St. Valentine's Day massacre still hangs over Chicago. A grim reminder that love isn't the only thing that kills. If this story made your heart race faster than a getaway car, then hit that like, share it with someone who loves true crime as much as you, and subscribe to Time Story, where the truth always shoots straight. Because sometimes, the deadliest love letters are written in bullets.